from University of Salamanca, Spain. He has completed his master's from University of Bologna, Italy in 2023, and his bachelor from Aligarh Muslim University, India in 2021. His area of interest is condensed matter physics, and his PhD topic is fabrication of van der Waals heterostructures and study of its electrical and optical properties. Now I would like to request our next speaker, Sahil Parvez, to kindly begin with his talk.
Hello, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. There is some issue, I guess, with the sharing screen.
Can ABP share the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so good evening. Thank you, ABP, for inviting me to speak in such a lovely webinar. Okay. And I'm Sahil Parvez. I am currently a PhD student at the University of Salamanca, Spain. And yeah, so as my fellow speaker Nasim has already said a lot information, have given a lot of information, I would try to avoid those and cover up more general topics in application of PhD and postdoctoral opportunities in Spain. And apart from that, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so why we are applying to PhD or postdoc in Spain? Definitely because of its wonderful research laboratories, cutting edge technologies, and there are also much more to offer in these European countries apart from the labs. We have a very good environment to work with. Then there are collaborative works, and we also get to know people. We have a lot of connection, and I think everyone already knows that. So we are past that stage, and we would like to know something more, that why we are, how we can get secure a PhD position or postdoc position. Okay, so like let's move on to the next page. Okay, so yeah, first we understand that what are the two types of PhDs offered here in Spain. Okay, so one is the state or the university funded PhD projects, and the other one is the European Union funded PhD projects. Okay, so and the university, and here's a brief description, or you can say the differentiation between university funded and the EU funded programs. So here the funding definitely comes from the country or the university uh, for the university funded ones, and for the EU funded ones is directly comes from the European Union, and it is much more of a project based um, uh, yeah, position. You are given a topic. So in university funded projects, what happens is you get the PhD position, and then you can later on decide which topic you want to work with the professor. However, It is in the European Union funded projects, you are given a set of manual, like you have to do, your outcome must be this. And so we are defined, like even before applying for PhD projects, we have a predefined set of way that we have to follow. And in terms of the PhD, we like the university ones, it is much more flexible with the time, how you can like the way you have the progress, you can extend. So there are quite some flexibility even with the topic in case of university funded PhD programs. But in case of European Union funded programs, it is not. It is pretty strict with their deadlines, and also there's very less flexibility with the topics. So, and even the stipend, yeah, they do cover, like for the university funded projects, they almost cover everything, all the expenses needed. However, like in comparison, what I've seen, the EU funded projects are slightly more uh, funds. They provide more funds in compared to the university funded programs. And here you will find two links which actually you can go through. So if you can see, there is one link for the European Union funded programs. If you can just open, then you will get to know that. Let me see. Okay. So in that, I'll later on show you how those like the offers are presented in the European Union funded programs. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the basic requirements, as my fellow has already told you, of writing about an email, definitely that's the first procedure. So you have to attach basically your CV or the resume, your transcripts, and the letter of recommendations. Um, and like the transcript is basically your report cards in one whole. So if anybody has doubt, so I clear it up. And so maybe two, three letter of recommendations you can give. And this is primarily that what is basically expected from you in the first glance. Okay. Then IELTS and TOEFL or the English proficiency examinations certificates are mostly exempted in southern Europe. And like I have given quite a few interviews, none of them actually asked me for any of the English proficiency examinations. However, you do need to learn their languages eventually. So not now if you don't have the knowledge of their the regional languages, it's okay. Like the primary mode of communication at university would definitely be English, but as you go on, eventually you do have to get to know the regional languages to communicate with people. Okay, so that's one thing. And the research proposal and interview eventually comes after the when you approach via email. After that, you do need to like give the research proposal and interview, as my fellow friend has already talked about. Okay, so next. So applying in Europe, there are various methods in which they take admission in PhD and postdoc. Every country has a different system of application procedure, and like in southern Europe, basically, I'm talking about Germany, Spain, Italy, France, Austria. There is a little bit of difference. Like in Germany or Spain, there is like professors do have a little bit more power to give a PhD position. Okay, and compared to France, Italy, Austria, uh, they have like application cycles. So a board of members or the team of members decide. that who are getting admission, like as you will see in the US based admission procedures. And their application period, Germany and a few other countries like take in PhD and postdocs all over the year. However, Italy, France, they have admission cycles, as I told you. So it's from mostly from February to April, because in Europe it's a little late compared to US. They it starts in December, but ends in December. But yeah, so more or less, so it's April and August to October. There is the primary like selection procedure takes place, admission cycles. Then after that, the interview is taken, which is the most important part in project-based PhD positions. Um, so moving on to the next slide. Okay, so yeah, I'll give a short and brief experience of mine, how I found, applied, and secured my PhD position in Spain. Okay, so yeah, I did. My search was pretty focused. I was actually finding through the university websites, which I basically do because I am pretty targeted with the particular universities. And also, I do follow the European Union um, off offers. So, my fellow speaker has already given you one of the link, and I have also shared another link. So you will find the PhD and postdoc positions, and I'll show you in detail about how like you can actually apply through that links if I have time. And so after that, I saw that advertisement of a European Union funded project on photonics, which is my field of interest in physics. Then I emailed the professor with my basic stuff, which I have already mentioned before, and then he reverted me back with like he told just okay, the CV was okay, so he wanted me to have an interview. So we decided on a date, and then on the date on a particular time we had an interview, and it went on for some 1.5 hours. It was completely in English, and the primary talk in the interview is basically on what your experience is, your CV, my CV actually, and then what my experience, my thesis and my master's, which I've done. It was also on similar topic which I'm applying for. So I had to give a presentation on what I did in my master's. Then he asked me questions on that, and he gave me a few papers of his to review them. And then he asked me to present what I understood, the gist of his papers, research papers which he had published. So basically, that was all to sum up in the interview. And then at the end of the interview, he mentioned that, okay, so he would be getting back to me within 2 weeks or so. And like somewhere near 2 weeks, I got an email from the university that, okay, so I can proceed, like from professor actually, that I can proceed with the application. So the application portal was opened for me, and then I applied, and there was the admission procedure. Like after the ending of almost, it took almost a month or so, and it was a positive reply definitely, because as I told you that in Spain or Germany, what happens is the professors have a little bit much more power to choose their own PhD students. So yeah, they actually then we apply later on to the university portals, and then we got get the selection, like selection is done. After that is the visa procedure. It is pretty simple because if you actually get a PhD offer, you also get a work permit with it. So you just need to submit the work permit, and that's it. Because in European countries, PhD is considered as work. So yeah, with that you will easily get the visa. Language requirements, as I mentioned, yeah, the primary mode of communication is in English, and there will be some difficulties with talking to common people. So you need to learn eventually the language. And accommodation is also available, but not university accommodations. We most of the people do take accommodations outside the universities and like apartments or so, but it's pretty cheap, ranging around 300 to 700 euros, depending upon the place you're staying in. Salamanca is a pretty cheap place, and like if you go to Madrid or Barcelona, it gets a little expensive. That's it. And so moving on to the next slide. Okay, so I'll just my entire presentation is the preparation for European PhD. Uh, with uh, with uh, there are uh, uh, okay. So it's okay. I'm trying maybe. Okay, at my end it seems alright, but I'm not sure. So if okay, is it clear right now?
Yeah, it is clear now. Please
Okay,
continue.
okay, okay. Thank you. So moving on. Okay, so the process.
Hello? Your voice is not audible.
Okay, let Sahil fix his voice. In between that time, we can go to the next speaker. And during question answer session, I think Sahil can come again with a better internet, and then or maybe there is a network problem or something like that. So let Sahil resolve that by the time the question answer session starts. Okay,
All right.
Dilruba, we should go to the next session. Yes.
Okay. So, still, I would like to thank Sahil Parvez for this precise and informative presentation. We are sure that our audience will find this presentation beneficial if they want to apply for higher education in Europe, especially in Spain. So, our next and last speaker